What up, everyone? What up, internet? There's only one person watching right now, but in the archive, there's probably lots of people listening or watching. You get the idea. Gordon here is solo. Why am I solo? I have some sad news. Regrettable. Did not think it would go this way, but my colleague, Kevin Sully, I don't know how to say this. He got sick and he decided not to show up because he doesn't care about you guys the way I do. He's also scared of my cross-country rankings. He thinks that they are fraudulent. He thinks that they're wrong. And he refused to even sit next to me while I go over these rankings. With that being said,
you had me worried, Gordon. I thought I was out of a job. Oh gosh.
He's also just sick, and he said, "I'll see you guys Friday." I got the text at 7 a.m. this morning, so it's just me for an hour, for 30 minutes, however long I can talk about cross country. But it's okay. I'm gonna need the chat to be wild because I'm gonna rely on you guys to keep the show going. It's gonna be a good show. I'm gonna talk about some cross country. I will not talk about my Philadelphia Phillies being 2 wins away from the World Series because that's not track and field. But I will talk about the cross-country rankings. I will talk about Kevin and his lack of commitment to the show. But that's for another podcast. We'll do that in a bonus pod. There is some non-cross-country news, but I think I'm going to save that for when Kevin comes back. Kind of do a little housekeeping. Obviously, New York City Marathon is this Sunday. We're going to do a full preview of the New York City Marathon on the Friday podcast, both men's and women's. Talk about, Galen Rupp, Kira D'Amato, all the great runners out there, which is, looking to be, I guess there's a Valencia marathon's going to be good. It's one of the final 2 or 3 big major marathons of 2022. We'll dive into that on the Friday pod. We'll do a reaction to the results on Monday morning. So if you're a marathon fan, don't fret. It's coming. There was some news over at the World Athletics where they announced the nominees for the Rising Star Award, which is basically, the Rookie of the Year type nominees. We'll go through that probably sometime next week. We got time. They're not announcing the winners anytime soon, so we'll break down who we think should win Rising Star on both the men's and women's side at the World Athletics. So we'll talk about that. Anything else? I think that's it. Let's talk about some cross country. All right. So we had a podcast the day of the conference championships, and Kevin and I gave our initial, reactions of what this means for the national team title race. What's our order of our new top 4? This is all done in the heat of the moment. We had just seen, Stanford do well at the Pac-12 championships. Oklahoma State men and women dominate Big 12s. Wisconsin win the Big 10. We saw NAU get back into form, winning the Big South. I'm not Big South, the Big Sky. But we didn't really look too deep into the numbers because, sometimes scoring 17 points or 22 points can look amazing, but in reality, your 5th was 2 minutes back of your 4th, and it's actually not that good of a run. So I put in all the numbers, updated my algorithm. Algorithm's getting complicated. I have a very unique Excel spreadsheet that, let's count. There are 3,542 athletes. 3,542 athletes, men and women combined, on my Excel sheet. And I'm trying to find the best 255 men and women. I'm trying to find the best 5-man, 5-woman spread to see the rankings of the top 25 teams. It's very complicated. I'm going off of multiple data points, such as last year's track season, Nutty, Comb, Cowboy Jamboree, conference championships, all that together. You're trying to prioritize, deprioritize, see who's kind of jogging, not jogging. It's all this complicated. And with that, I came up with my updated 255. I think we're going to start with the individuals because I know, start with team. Individual? Individual. Start with individuals. Individuals more interesting in my mind. So we'll start with individual men. So I have a new number 1. So going into conference championships, Kai Robinson was my number one. Nico Young is now my new number one. Nico Young. Kai Robinson actually dropped all the way down to 5th, but really Kai Robinson is technically 3rd because if you look at my rankings, I got the 3 Stanford boys finishing 3rd, 4th, 5th. It doesn't matter the order. Who cares if it's Charles Hicks, Cole Sprout Robinson, Hicks? Those 3 are going to be running together, and I think they are, as a trio, the 3rd best runner in the country. Those 3 combined make the 3rd best runner. Nico Young 1, Alex Mayer 2, then the Stanford trio 3. Which is crazy, because if you think about it, if the 3rd best runner in the country is 3 different people, your team, little foreshadowing, pretty damn good. So Nico Young 1, Alex Mayer 2, Stanford trio 3. Then we go into Alabama's Victor Kiprop. He won SECs. He is 6. Casey Klinger out in the West Coast Conference at BYU, 7. Bob Liking, name of the year right there, in 8th. Acer Iverson of Harvard, 9th. And then Nicholas Scudder from Charlotte. This guy, man, no one's talking about him. Over at the Conference USA, won that. Nicholas Scudder, man. He's a junior. He's going to finish top 10 for sure. And no one's even talking about him. Maybe even top 5. He's going to be like, when we're going to be watching the stream, you're going to be like, who's that Charlotte kid who's like running up there with Nico Young? You're like, yeah, it's Nicholas Scudder. Come on. But you see NAU's number 2 there, Drew Bosley, 11. Benfeld, 12 of Oregon. Dylan Jacobs, NCAA 10K champ, 13. He lost to Victor Kiprop at SECs. 14, we got Carter Solomon of Notre Dame, who had a big ACC performance. Parker Wolf, 15. Barry Keene, 16. Andrew Kent, 17, ran well at Pac-12s. Then Haftu of Villanova, who was, I think, top 10 at Cross last year. So I have him finishing top 20 here. Roy Leonard of Oklahoma State, new name, there, 19. And then his teammate, Victor Schützma, 20. We'll talk about this when we talk about the team. Victor Schützma did not run well at Big 12s. But he ran well at Cowboy Jamboree. He's very good. He should be an All-American finisher, maybe even a top 20 like I have him here. But that's going to be the linchpin for Oklahoma State, is whether or not this guy shows up to be a top 20 guy or finishing 80th, which could make or break Oklahoma State's chances at winning the team title. And then go on the list. You can check out all 255. Let's talk about who finished 255th on my men's list. You know, everyone wants to know, who do I think will finish dead last at NCAAs? And we'll back up. So Jacob Lewis, Jr. from Tennessee, congratulations. You're finishing dead last at NCAAs. But that's of today. That's if the race happened today. The race is not today, luckily for you, Jacob Lewis. The race is in a few weeks. You have a chance to prove yourself at regionals, to change the narrative around you about being the 255th best runner in the nation. I believe in you. I think you're going to run well in the South region to get off of that 255 name on your back. So, Jacob Lewis, don't fret. It's just for the November 2nd rankings. You're not going to finish 255th at Nationals. So those are my top 255 individuals. I mean, most of the names we've known. There's a couple like randos like Scudder, right, of Charlotte there. But at the end of the day, the race is going to be Nico Young, Alex Mayer, Stanford trio, Alabama's Kiprop, maybe Klinger, and then maybe Dylan Jacobs gets it together and is in the mix. But I think there's a very strong chance it's going to be Young, Mayer, or one of the Stanford guys. I don't think Kiprop's going to win. It's going to be Young, Mayer, or Stanford. Like, that's just what it's going to be. And if you think about it, Stanford's got 3 bullets to try to get the individual title. So, but right now, I'm going with Nico Young. Even though he lost to Kai Robinson, Nico Young, man, he's damn good. He's been running well. So, Nico Young, my new number 1 going into regionals. All right, time for women. Women are up. Now, this is where we get a little controversy. I had to prevent myself from doing something. So to go into these rankings, we have this rating system. Basically, being rated a 1 is basically your plus minus of being All-American. So the best right now, Caitlin Tui has a rating of 0.9690, which is, as of right now, the best rating that I have in my algorithm. And Parker Valby is a 0.9750. So a difference of 0.014 separates Tui and Valby. And the algorithm told me Tui over Valby. So I had to respect the algorithm, and that's what I did. I put Tui over Valby. But man, I think it's a lot closer. I think there's a legitimate chance that Parker Valby can beat Caitlin Tui. Now, Tui has a lot going for her. She has the experience. She has the fact that she's running for her team. And Valby's going to be going there as an individual. She has the pedigree, right? She's been great all throughout high school. She's been great her first few years at NC State. She just has a lot going for her. She is basically, I'm trying to find she's the Patrick Mahomes. No, she's Patrick Mahomes. She's 1-1. We know she's good. Like, we're never going to count out Patrick Mahomes the way we're not going to count out Caitlin Tui. Parker Valby, though. Parker Valby is, in my opinion, Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen has yet to win the big one. But everyone knows Josh Allen is damn good and can go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. And that's what Parker Valby is. We saw her go toe-to-toe with Caitlin Tui in outdoor track. But, took the loss. But that's fine. It was her first time there. But Parker Valby now this season, she's dominating everyone. She dominated Mercy Chilenga, an NCAA champion herself, at SECs. She has shown no signs of weakness. Like, she's perfect. She's undefeated this season. And she's running fast. She's not winning, close races. She's not running in slow races. She's running fast from the gun. And she's going to push Caitlin Tui to her absolute limit. Now, the algorithm says Tui now. It says Valby second, but I really, truly believe it is a toss-up. If I had to guess, I don't know. I think the smart answer is go with Tui. You should go with the known. But the fun answer is to go with Valby. Come on. That'll be fun. Chris Zielinski doing a great job coaching down there in Florida. Finds a way to get Parker Valby that no one was talking about, kind of this unknown. Yes, she was good in high school, but she was no Caitlin Tui. She was no Marley Starlipper. She was no Jenna Hutchins. She was no Natalie Cook. She was Parker Valby. Good, but not. She wasn't lighting up the headlines. But then her freshman year at Florida, she starts running fast. She puts her name on the charts at outdoor track, and now this cross country season, it's just all right, well, you are for real. There's a shot that you're gonna just dominate this academic school year, and we'll find out. We find out in November. Valby's gonna cruise through regionals. So would Tui. Tui probably won't even win regionals. She's probably gonna jog with her teams. Maybe doesn't even run it, right? Tui could be hey, let the rest of the team qualify. But yeah, Valby 2, Tui 1. It's kind of great. They both named their last names end with a Y. Love the symmetry there. Tui, Valby. It's going to be great. Chilenga, NCAA champion 2 years ago. Won on the Stillwater course. I have third. Kaylee McCabe, she beat the Oklahoma State duo of Taylor Rowe and Natalie Cook. So that meant something for me. So West Virginia's Kaylee McCabe is fourth. Taylor Rowe, we know she's probably, her floor is seventh place. I have her fifth. Then Kelsey Camille, Bailey Ertenstein. She did well at Pac-12s. Natalie Cook, Hilda Oldman-Mola of Alabama, Evelyn Kemboy. I have 10. Aubrey Frentway, 11. Kaylee Mitchell of Oregon State, 12. Emily Venters, 13. Samantha Bush, running well, 14. Elise Stearns, NAU's new number 1 runner. She's running well. She won Big Sky, 15th. Bila Jepkuru, which no one is talking about. She's Oklahoma State's number 3 runner. I have her finishing 16th. Now we'll get into this when we talk about team. But right now, I have Oklahoma State's third runner being the best third runner. A better third runner than Alabama's trio. A better third runner than NC State's trio. Oklahoma State having 3 in the top 16. That's scary. Keep that in mind. Then I have Kaylee Doan of Liberty. Emily Covert of Colorado. NAU, another runner in the top 20. Anika Reese. And then Olivia Marquezich of Notre Dame in my top 20. So, all the big names are there. I don't think there's, there might be a few that that may just have like a breakout race and just find a way to sneak in the top 20. But sneaking in the top 5, I don't see anyone outside my top 20 finishing in the top 5. Like, it's going to be Tui, it's going to be Valby, it's going to be McCabe, it's going to be one of the Oklahoma State women, it's going to be Chalenga. Like, it's a known commodity. Similar to the men, these are the women that are going to be fighting for that title, and I really think eventually it's just going to be Tui and Valby. And we may see Tui get shown up, or we might see Tui remind us, hey, I'm Caitlin freaking Tui. I ain't losing to Parker Valby. Find out. And now, who do I have ranked 255 on the women? Who's joining Jacob Lewis of Tennessee as my dead last finisher? It is Madeline Vinning of Toledo. Sorry. Toledo having a good season, but Madeline, I just have you finishing 255. I believe I never heard of you, to be honest. I'm sorry. I probably should. You did run at NCAAs last year, and you're running better this year. Your rating that you had this regular season is actually better than the rating you had at 2021. So you're showing improvement, which means that you shouldn't finish dead last year. But, new people come in, people leave, it changes the algorithm. You're not going to finish dead last, but as of right now, you are. Sorry. All right, before we get into the team side of things, let's take a look at the chat. Kurt Steele, I thought they were all just imposter Alex Mayers. Yes, Mayer, we'll talk about this when we talk about the men's team title, but basically there's the Alex Mayer factor, or the Alex Mayer standard. And the U has 2. Stanford has 3. Oklahoma State has 1. BYU has 2.5. When you look at that, it kind of doesn't look good for Oklahoma State only having 1 Alex Mayer. But their Alex Mayer is the actual Alex Mayer. I'll get into that when we talk about the team stuff. People joining the pod now, they're like, what the hell is he talking about? I'll explain. Don't worry about it. Cameron Webb, how many quotes will Kevin dispute when he gets back? All of them. He's probably going to try to delete this episode. So if you're watching live, you may be seeing, something that no one else will ever get to see again, because Kevin will file it away into the abyss. Bill Kingsley, Scudder looked strong last year too until championships. Yes, but I think he's doing well. I think he's going to finish top 10. Mediocre professor, please mention that SEC primarily runs on flat courses, while ACC has significant hills. No, that's not going to be a reason for me to say that Tui is showing her that she's stronger than Valby. I don't care about that. Hills, no hills, flat, doesn't matter. Valby is running fast. Fast is fast. I don't care if it's up a hill, down a hill. I don't care if it's on a a track. Kipchoge was running sub 2 hour marathon on a flat track with perfect pacers. Doesn't mean he can't win a New York City marathon dealing with hills. We actually should find that out because we need Kipchoge to run in New York City. Kurt Steele, kind of confused. Didn't you say Tui 0.96 and Valby 0.97? Wouldn't that mean a Valby over Tui? No, it's the lower the number. So 0.96. So again, understand my algorithm. 1 is basically All-American. So if you're less than 1, you're higher up. And if you're more than 1, you're lower down. So the lowest number is the best. So 0.96 is better than 0.97. I think when I did this algorithm, Cheserek got all the way down to like 0.94, which is very hard to do. Typically, the super elites are all under 0.98. And then like all-time greats are in like the 0.95s. And I think Cheserek one time was 0.94. So yeah, the lower the number, the higher you're up. Anyone else saying anything? More people talking about the hills. Clearly, Kevin is the one that pays attention to the comment section. Yes, it's very true. He is the one that keeps me in line and makes sure that we stay connected with you guys. And I'm trying my best here. Hey, it's my first time reading comments, to be honest. I've actually never read the comments. You're told not to read comments as a content creator because the people come in, they fire shots like, what's with your hairstyle? It hurts, it breaks your heart, So I'm doing my best. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the team title. And I have some things to say about it that may get me in trouble by Kevin, but he's not here. He's calling in fake sick. So he's going to have to deal with it. So let's start with the women's.
I won't tell on you, Gordon.
All right, keep this between me, you, and the chat. So let's talk about the women's team title first. We're going to do a little ladder style. So we talk about how NC State, they got obviously the best run in the country because Valby is not going to score because she's going to be an individual. So they already got 1 stick. They only got to score 4. And right now, my rankings have NC State 1, Oklahoma State 2, New Mexico 3, and Alabama 4, Northern Arizona 5, and Georgetown 6. And if you look at that, they have the exact same ranking as I had prior to conference championships. So the algorithm said what you did at conferences was great. Oklahoma State dominating Big 12s, NC State barely winning ACCs, New Mexico doing their thing at Mountain West, and Alabama winning SECs, and AU winning, Georgetown winning. Like, it actually didn't affect the algorithm. And I thought it would. I thought NC State's barely winning ACCs would drop them. I also thought that NC State, we haven't seen Savannah Shaw. I had her as one of their top 6 runners. I'm now removing her from the list because she hasn't run since like early September. And one thing I learned is there's a Savannah Shaw that runs for Pepperdine. You know that? I learned that. I saw the double. I was like, wait, that's a different Savannah Shaw, and I had to remove. Anyway, but despite NC State barely winning ACCs, and despite Oklahoma State dominating Big 12s, it really didn't change the projections. And so I think that NC State clearly is the favorite still, despite showing some flaws. However, I will say this. NC State basically is going to win or lose the team title because of one runner. And one runner only. It's not Camille. It's not Tui. It's not Bush. It's not whether or not Starlipper shows up. It's one runner only. That's not the runner. Colt's trying to discover who the runner is. So the runner is who I have currently seated. Where do I have her? Basically, I'm basically going to tell you there are 255 runners in a cross-country race, but only one of them will decide the team title, and that is who I have currently ranked 25th, and that is Sydney Seymour, the senior from NC State. Sydney Seymour, let's get her T-First page up. Cole, I'm going to send you the T-First page in the chat. Sorry. Apologies. Oh, man, I should have done a better job at prepping Colt here. I'm going to put in the document. I just didn't have the document up. Boom. There it is. Sydney Seymour, transferred from Tennessee. She's had a very unique season so far. So scroll down. We'll show her. She's run 4 races. So if you want to scroll down, so you show the 4 race results. Or she's only run 3 times. So she ran at Joe Piani, and she got 6th. And that was a good Joe Piani race. She was right next to Samantha Bush, finished like a second behind her. And then Nuttycombe, she finished like a few seconds behind. She finished 23rd at Nuttycombe on October 14th. And then her most recent result, if you scroll back up, well, no, the other way, yeah. You see that she finished 29th at ACCs. So she's getting worse as the season goes along. But she started as like, no doubt about it, top 20 runner. And now she's like showing like, hey, I may not be a top 20 runner. But, you know, she's made the NCAA outdoor 5K. She's run 15:30s in a 5K. Like, she is a legit talent. She's transferred from Tennessee. So there's something there. But it is slowly not looking good. And right now, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I have her finishing 25th. But if this goes the way it's trending, and she finds a way to finish 60th, 80th, 100th, NC State's ability to have pure dominance goes out the window. And then Oklahoma State and New Mexico, or maybe even Alabama, will win. NC State's the favorite. They're going to win if Sydney Seymour runs like Sydney Seymour can. The thing is, she's showing signs of fading. And if it continues to fade, NC State won't win. If it doesn't fade, NC State will win. So, if you guys want to, when you're watching the race, just follow one runner. You don't even need to watch the other 254 runners. Just see where Sydney Seymour is. If Sydney Seymour's running well, NC State's going to win. If Sydney Seymour's running poorly, NC State will not win. NC State will still finish second, but they won't win. And Oklahoma State is the team kind of in line to kind of take advantage of that. They have a great top 4, a great top 3, a good top 4. Their 5th is not good, but their top 3 is so good that they can make up for having a not so good 5th. New Mexico, they're great through 7, but they don't have a true good number 1. And then Alabama, they have an incredible top 3. It's just their 4 or 5 are kind of running in no man's land, and they're going to kind of need a miracle. And then NAU, they could show up. They can put together. Taryn O'Neill right now, I have like their 3rd or 4th runner. She was top 10 last year. So, but yeah, NC State's the one to watch. Sydney Seymour, she is the linchpin on whether or not NC State wins back-to-back titles or gets upset by an Oklahoma State or New Mexico. Let's look at the chat. Chat, do you agree with me or not agree with me? Bill Kinsley, I'm scared Gordon and I agree on something. Yeah, you should be. You should never be okay with agreeing with me. Someone whose name is OO, 3 O's, 3 O's. NC State has a depth that Coach Hennes can adjust based on her evaluation of how runners are the week of finals. That is true. But she's not going to not run Sydney Seymour. Even though she ran awful at ACCs, she's too good of a talent to not, take a chance on her. Because you don't want someone who could have finished 15th overall sitting on the sideline. I'll take the risk. And then just hope that if she doesn't finish 15th, someone else finds a way to finish 30th or something like that. But yeah, NC State, it's all about Sydney Seymour, the transfer from Tennessee. See what happens. Any other notable top 4 teams that I want to talk about on the women's side? Let me bring up the list. Colorado, them doing well at Pac-12s, moved them up from 12th to 7th. Providence women, they moved up pretty well to 15th. See if there's any big droppers. No, not really any big droppers. You can kind of just, once you get outside the top 8, it's really anyone there's not like a true there's not a true number 9 team. If that makes any sense. There's someone can finish 9th to 18th and it all kind of mean the same. So that's why it's kind of hard to really talk about the Washingtons, the North Carolinas, Utah Valleys, Cal Baptists of the world, because they're all kind of very intermixed. It's really NC State versus Oklahoma State / New Mexico / Alabama / maybe put a flyer out on NAU. And Georgetown. Georgetown's running. We need respect from Georgetown. Georgetown respect out there. They're running well in DC. So, yeah. I don't really know much about them. I just know they're running well. And NAU, running well. We'll see what happens. Okay. It's time to talk about the men. Save the best for last, because I have some thoughts. So, if I recall correctly, I believe I don't know what I recall, to be honest. A lot happened over the weekend. It was a Halloween party. It was World Series games. Lots happened since Friday. I'm a different man. Different man since Friday. We're all different people since Friday. We go through it's November. We've all become different in November. Maybe I'll grow out a mustache. We'll see. But right now I have Stanford 1, Oklahoma State 2, BYU 3, Northern Arizona 4. Then I may need to throw Wisconsin 5 and Air Force 6 in the mix as well. I'll talk about that when we talk about my NAU thoughts. Well, first, let's talk about, I think we should start with NAU. So NAU runs very well at Big Sky. They scored like 17 points, dominated Montana State. And Montana State's a good team. But here, we'll kind of just keep on coming back in. Yeah. Hey, are we live? We're live now. This is great. Something happened. We're back live. So we're back. Okay. 100%. You guys can see me. 1 in the chat. Okay. Yes, we see he's back. Okay, we're back. I don't know where I last left off, but I was talking about Northern Arizona. The algorithm does not love their 3 through 7. Nico Young and Drew Bosley are great, but then I have their 3rd and their 4th in the 90s, their 5th, 6th, 7th in the hundreds. It's not looking good, and it's because there really isn't much for us to go off of because they didn't run well at Nutty Comb. The Big Sky results, when you actually dive into the numbers, their 3, 4, 5 were way back of Drew Bosley. If their 3, 4, 5 were closer to Drew Bosley, then maybe there would have been some semblance of like, okay, they're getting their stuff together. The back half of their roster is starting to look good. But they only looked good at Big Sky because there was no other teams there. If they run the way they ran at Big Sky at Nutty Comb, it would have been the same type of result. So we still have yet to really truly see NAU in the form that we thought they would be. That being said, it is NAU. They have won 4 of the past 5, with their 1 loss being a 2nd place finish. So we should not count on NAU. But if you have a brain, if you have eye test, and if you have an algorithm, you count them out. But don't count them out because Mike Smith, NAU, can't count them out, but count them out. If that makes sense? You can count them out, but can't count them out at the same time. They're 4th. They're going to finish 4th. But maybe 1st. But they're going to finish 4th. Yeah, fourth. They're going to finish fourth. All right, let's talk about the true now. We used to think it was a big four. It's actually a big three. The big three is BYU, Oklahoma State, and Stanford. Why do we have the order as right now Stanford, Oklahoma State, BYU? So let's start with BYU. Let's look at the individual teams, the individual results I have for rankings I have for BYU men. So right now, BYU men, I have them finishing Klinger 7, Garnica 33, Joey Noakes 36, Christian Allen 46, Aiden Troutner 52. It's pretty good. But the thing is, their second runner, I have it finishing 33rd. That's not going to cut it. If your second best runner is 33rd, you're not going to win a title. Because when I show you what Oklahoma State and Stanford's second best runners, they're not finishing 33rd. But keep in mind, though, BYU, second 33rd, then 36, then 46, then 52. We talk about that tight spread that BYU had at Nuttycombe, and this is where you're seeing it. There's 2 through 5. It's going to be 33 to 52. That's an amazing pack. But you just need BYU to do that in the 20s, not in the 30s and 40s. Now, BYU can. Brandon Garnica, as Kevin says, big race Brandon. We'll see if he does big race Brandon at Stillwater. It wasn't a big race when he ran at Stillwater in March of 2021. Christian Allen, he's good. Weber State transfer. But, there hasn't been too much, he hasn't run out of his mind. And then Aiden Troutner, Jr., he's kind of just like a solid BYU guy. And then you have the Davin and Creed Thompson. I have as their 6'7" runner finishing 63, 64. I have their 7th runner finishing 64th. That's how good BYU is. They put 7 in the top 65. It's insane. But BYU, their weakness right now is their 2 through 5 spread. I'm not even including their 1 because Klinger's top 10. He's separate. Their 2 through 5 spread right now looks like it's going to finish in the 30s and 40s as opposed to the 20s and the 30s. We'll see what happens. And then Oklahoma State, I have 2. And Oklahoma State, they're the ultimate wild card. They're the wild card of all wild cards, in my opinion, because they have the home course advantage, which is real, because this is a very hard cross-country course. You ask any athlete or any coach who went there, they will tell you this is not normal. It is hard. The last K or 2 miles, or I'm not sure when it starts, but the last part of the race, people die. And Oklahoma State's going to know that, and they're not going to die because they're going to be prepared for the death. If you're prepared for death, you don't die. Whoa, that's like a really good quote. If you're prepared for death, you don't die. Just put that on a t-shirt.
That's deep.
That's deep, right? Because when you get older, right, and you start preparing for the end of your time, when you actually do die, you feel like you're not really dying because you're prepared for it. Like death that you're prepared for just feels different versus death that you're not prepared for. Anyway, Oklahoma State is prepared for the death. And so they won't die. That's exactly what's going to happen. They have Alex Mayer. We talked about Alex Mayer. Enough of that. All right. But let's talk about their 2 through 5. So they have Mayer, who's going to finish top 4. And then they have Roy Leonard, sophomore, new to the scene, ran well at Big 12s. I have him finishing the top 20. Victor Shitsema, who is kind of like the Sidney Seymour of Oklahoma State. You don't know what you're going to get. Are you going to get a top 20 guy, or are you going to get a guy who finishes in the 90s? I have him 20th. And then you see a pack. And their pack is basically their 4 through 6. Isai Rodriguez, 39. Fayod Masayudi, 41. And then Ryan Shoppy, 43. So their 6th man finishing 43rd. That's a sign of success, right? That shows they have the depth. That shows they got 6 bullets for 5 shots. It's looking good. But here's the thing. As good as this all is, as good it is that they have the home field advantage, and as good it is that they have 6 in the top 43, and as good as it is that they have Alex Mayer, who might win individually, the difference is Stanford has 3 Alex Mayers. And what do I mean by Alex Mayer? An Alex Mayer is someone who you know is going to finish no worse than 7th. Like, which means their floor is the greatest floor. It's like marble. It's always clean. It doesn't, no scruffs. People take their shoes off when they walk on it. That's what an Alex Mayer is. You know your floor is perfect. And the floor of an Alex Mayer is 7th, which is great. If you're finishing 7th out of 255, you're damn good. Oklahoma State has an Alex Mayer. His name's Alex Mayer. But Stanford has 3 of them. Their names are Charles Hicks, Cole Sprout, and Kai Robinson. And I have them right now finishing 3rd, 4th, 5th, which means they're really only scoring 2 people. They only have to do a 2-person, they don't need to worry about a 2-person spread. They're 4 and 5 runner. Because they got 3 who are finishing in the top 5 right now. So, we know what Stanford's got top 3. So it's basically, can their 4-5 put together a respectable performance? And based on what I've seen this regular season, I think they can. Right now, their 4th runner, I have as Devin Hart, finishing 45th, just outside All-American. And then their 5th runner, finishing 65th. Makai Boudin-Rousseau, finishing 65th. And then their 6th runner, 85th, Thomas Boyden. And then their 7th runner, Robert Donato, 100th. Who cares about that? It's more about their 4-5, and their 4-5 is 45 and 65. And 45 and 65 plus their top 3, that's not going to get beat. Now, there is a weakness here to Stanford, right? Is, what if their 4-5 have bad days? They're not household names. They can have bad days. So it's not a sure lock you're going to win no matter what. But they have 4 guys, and they got to find 2 of the 4. They need a 50% hit rate to get 2 guys near All-American status. And right now, the way they're running, I think they can. So Stanford right now is the favorite. Oklahoma State, with the home field advantage and having 6 guys in All-American conversation, is 2. BYU is 3, mainly because, Christian Allen and Brandon Garnica. BYU can easily win, for the record. BYU can easily, for sure, win, and it should not be surprising. But BYU can also easily get 3rd. Just very easily. Super easy. It's really hard for them to get 2nd. BYU getting 2nd is going to be the hardest thing they've ever done in their life. But BYU getting 3rd or BYU getting 1st, it's going to be the easiest thing they've ever done in their life. That may not make sense, but it's true. BYU is finishing 1st or 3rd. They're not finishing 2nd. Deal with it. And then NAU, I have them 4th. NAU will win if NCAAs was on a Thursday and it was like a throwback Thursday race, NAU will win because then they'll just throw back to when they were putting like 7 All-Americans up. The Louis Grijalva and Lace Farrow years and Jordy Beamish and all that good stuff. But the thing is, cross country is run on a Saturday, not a Thursday. Used to be run on a Monday sometimes. But it's run on a Saturday, not a Thursday, so they're not going to be able to throw it back to the glory days of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. They're going to have to focus on the now. And I think it's going to be about, can they win individually? I think that's the storyline now for NAU with Nico Young. Can they win an individual title? I'm not sure if NAU's ever won an individual title. I should look it up. I don't think NAU has ever won an individual title in cross country. So, but at the same time, don't count on NAU. They're in the Big 4 because of their pedigree, but really it's a Big 3. But he put 4 in because it's NAU. You can't ignore NAU. But that's the team side. Team-wise, outside my Big 4, Air Force is running well. Wake Forest ran well at conferences. Wisconsin, I think, is a sneaky team. If NAU really falls apart, Wisconsin can sneak in there for 4th. I don't think NAU is going to fall apart. I think they're going to at least podium. Any other weird teams in the mix? Princeton's now ranked. Harvard is now ranked. Colorado State's now ranked. Iowa State's ranked. Any other big movers? NC State men moved up a bit. Again, it's kind of Wake Forest. Yeah, Wake Forest went from 19 to 7. We knew Wake Forest was good. Wake Forest, I had top 10. Then they ran like ass at Nuttycombe, so I took them out. And then they ran great at ACCs, so they put them back in. So you just got to not run like ass, and you're going to be a top 10 team. That's what every coach should say to their athletes. Hey, don't run like ass, and you're a top 10 team. Simple. Run like ass, you're outside top 10. Maybe they don't use those words, but they should because it'd be funny. Everyone loves a funny coach. So yeah, right now, Stanford 1 because of their crazy top 3. Oklahoma State 2 because of their home field advantage and their depth through 6. BYU 3 because there's no way in hell they're finishing second. They're finishing first or third. That's what BYU's doing. They're winning or they're third. And then NAU's 4. You've got to respect Mike Smith. You got to respect their pedigree. But you also got to respect the results that they put on the floor, on the grass this year. And those results say you're the 4th best team. And then the rest. So, look at the chat. Bill Kingsley, I think Mike Smith loves to doubt, real or imagine. That's true. Yeah, all coaches love being doubted. So, screw you, Stanford. You suck. Oklahoma State, all right, cool. We're Stillwater. Why don't you be in a better city? BYU, Provo. How do I, Cougars, your mascot? Lame. NAU, Lumberjacks. That's like a very old-fashioned mode of getting a... Are there Lumberjacks in real life, Colt?
Got them. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's definitely lumberjacks, right? They probably don't use axes anymore to cut down trees.
They don't use axes. Lumberjacks are just using machines.
Probably. Yeah.
Right? Like there's not an actual lumberjack.
Chainsaws and
yeah. So lumberjacks are kind of like, they don't exist anymore because people just technology. They're like, a lumberjack is now basically like the kiosk at the McDonald's when you order your food. Like they don't need you anymore. Right? Well, anyway, yeah, NAU. You have a shitty mascot. Wisconsin. All right, cool. Keep on winning Big Ten titles, but when are you going to win an NCAA title? Air Force? All right, I'd rather watch the Air Force, Navy, Army tri-meet. Wake Forest? Chris Paul's cool. Tulsa? Are you jealous that Nationals is in Stillwater and not Tulsa? Notre Dame? Do you miss Dylan Jacobs? Villanova? You're a basketball school. Colorado? Mark Wetmore? More like Mark hasn't won since 2014 more. North Carolina. Milt's cool, but like, it's no Stanford.
They've won the basketball game.
They won a basketball game. Oh, don't. Duke is better in every facet of the game, I guess, except for cross country. Michigan State, you just got beat by Michigan in football. Oregon, is Schumacher focused on your team? I don't know. He could care more about his Grant Fisher's World Athletics Athlete of the Year campaign. Alabama, you're a team of 3. You've never been a team of 4 or 5. NC State, we care more about your women's program. Syracuse, Justin Knight was cool. Portland, you wish you went to Oregon. Colorado State, I like you guys. Colorado State's cool. I can't say anything wrong about Colorado State. Cal Baptist, welcome to D1. So good luck with that. Montana State, Duncan Hamilton, he runs steeple, not 10K cross. Harvard, you guys are too smart for this. Tennessee, like, you got a new coach and all, but like, no one cares about the cross country team. You're number 1 in the college football rankings. So you guys should be watching football, not running cross country. Princeton, like, are you guys like too cool for school for running? Like, you guys may be like doing like voting polls, right? Then does Princeton do voting stuff? No, what's the one? Susquehanna? What's the big polling school?
There's a big polling school?
Yeah, there's a school that does like a lot of voting polls. Is it Susquehanna? It's a very famous one.
I don't know what Susquehanna
Anyway,
is.
Princeton, you guys are smart. And then Iowa State, why don't you let me film a workout with you guys? You keep on saying no. So I'm ranking you 25th. They are officially roasted all of you. So now you all have a reason to shut me up and win a national title. You're welcome. 25 schools. You're welcome. That's it, guys. It's been fun. I can't wait till Friday. We'll preview NYC Marathon. Kevin will be back, hopefully, sick-free. And, cross country. So close. Can't wait to see men's and women's matches. It's really coming to fruition, especially individual battles. It's going to be great. Team battles are going to be great. There's favorites, but there's no locks, which is great. There's a favorite in the team battles and in the individual battles, but there's no locks. And when there's no locks, it gets exciting because that means anything can happen. So, gotta love a year where there's no true lock, and we'll find out. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Sorry for technical difficulties, and we'll talk.